pretty hard to start
the
before. So that means
remotely
the
operated vehicle,
from the
we can
opposite
see
again.
pretty
So
hard,
something
bright
Wow.
yellow
Yeah.
return. So that's the seafloor. So
Yes.
seafloor is covered with,
Delta's
it's
26.
a little bit irregular, but it is covered with a white
Yeah, Delta
deposit.
26.
It might
Sorry,
be
my
bacterial
tether's
naturally.
Could be.
That's
Could
what,
be.
what we've been
smacking
seeing
my
before.
underbelly.
Okay.
So we're going to look for flatfish, Bill. Let's see if we see them. They're real small, and we're about 8.6, 7.6 meters. We're going down off the bottom
Coming down.
with the ROV. We're at 900,
Slow.
410
Okay, so
meters.
which way
I
do
was
I
going to read
turn
it
now?
backwards.
Okay, well, I have to go negative.
410
Sirius has to go
meters
positive.
depth.
Strange, right?
No, if
Nothing
I go,
on sonar.
And
if you go
all the
negative, if I
seafloor
go
is
negative
covered
here,
with a patina of
automatically goes positive.
Yes.
white
Yeah.
material. And
So I
as we
just
get
have to go
closer, embedding is kind
to
of
port.
flocculent,
Yes.
Yes.
possibly
Port, yeah.
Build a
bacterial
port
matter.
and the ship will move at
The
300.
fish that would be, if lasers were on right, just as the white material starts.
Do you want
small and
lasers on,
black.
pilot?
So there's a small
Sure.
fish in the
Might be
dark
kind of a
area.
cool view with all the
Yeah.
Yeah,
verticals.
our, yep.
Okay, I'm almost
We will.
down. If you come down to get
We're
like
not
Yes,
quite
right.
down there.
Yeah, I just never saw the
Cautiously approaching now.
tether
Yeah, the
systems
pilots
that
are
were
going to
working
have
for.
to
Kind of
stabilize the
these are
vehicle
current
here
behind us,
before we
or
can actually
the no
start
current. Yeah,
doing a
it's
lot of
very
zooming with
strange.
the
Right, coming down
With a
slow.
camera.
Delta
with camera.
22.
The camera is situated right in the center of the front of the vehicle. It's a really
and then
big,
I'll have you,
high-def
while I look around, I'll have you put out
camera.
the,
And
all the swing arms.
as soon as the
Yes.
pilot's ready, he'll notify the videographer
Still
and they'll zoom.
3 meters up. Everything's looking good.
Could
Feeling good,
you
co-pilot?
clarify?
Yeah, I feel good.
It looks to me like
All
we're
right.
northeast
It's,
of the location
a
of
little
the
clear
sulfur
right
pond.
now.
Is that right?
Great.
And how far are we?
I'll put the
Let me
map
check.
full
I
screen.
can't see
Let me
any
check for you.
on that
All right, I'm going
map.
to tilt
Okay.
camera up slightly. Winch is stopped. Delta of 18. And now I have
Go ahead,
you
watch
at, so you're at 40 in my 35
So the
in my
white
camera.
is probably sulfur on this
If you want me to do
sedimented
swing arms,
slope.
I can.
Yeah.
Well,
Get
okay,
closer
so
to the bottom,
originally
you can see some of the
we
flags
had a
want
landing
moving
all
around.
out?
Just put the lowers out a little, and the
85
uppers,
meters
Yeah.
away
the
at
uppers do the
277
normal
degrees.
kind of
Oh,
all
We had
out.
changed that
Okay,
to go to the
got it.
right based on
Currently
the
don't
plumes that
look
we were
like
seeing.
flatfish that I'm seeing
And
in
instead
the,
now we've hopped over to the
but there
left to
are
the
a
east
lot
side of
the
it,
fish, both
and
on
we're
Okay.
seeing it a lot
very
better. So
sediment forward
to
towards the
waypoint
white.
2, the sulfur pond,
Right?
if
Got
that's
it.
what you're asking about, that
Yes.
is 22 meters at 188 degrees.
Thank you. Okay, Bill, our navigator just told me we are about 22 meters north of waypoint 2, which was the
saw
sulfur
something moving in there.
pond. So we are
See,
up
you got a
above
lot
it.
of small
I
fish.
can read it.
Yeah, me too.
I'm waiting to hear from watch
Right.
leads to see what the plan
Full
is.
screen really helps.
Okay, watch lead, pilot here.
Okay, pilot.
We think we came to the correct side of the smoke this time.
Okay.
Current actually seems pretty low at the
Yeah,
moment,
it does.
but we'll be ready to adjust for any high currents if they sweep through.
Okay.
As Nav said, we're 22 meters north of the sulfur pond observed in 2006.
Right.
And I'm guessing this is not any sort of sulfur pond, 'cause when I turn, it's about a 20-degree, 30-degree slope.
Are you able to head toward waypoint 2?
Oh, for sure. I didn't know if you
Okay.
wanted to look at any of the bottom
We do
fish,
want
I
to.
think.
We do want to take a. Yep. We do want to take a look at the bottom and see if there are any fish.
Okay. So I was wondering, since this is angled, I can't sit down here, correct? It's not a...
Understood. So it's going to be zoom with the vehicle on in the water column.
Well, I was asking if I can. You don't
Yes,
think there's
please.
any activity here, right?
There's no activity here that I can tell.
Okay.
I'm seeing something, like, you see right in the screen right there? It looks like
I don't know.
bubbling, but I
Looks
can't
like-
tell what it is.
Left of lasers in that
Okay,
gray
Bill
pool.
Chadwick, the pilots
sure
are
if it's
wondering whether
fish
they
or
could,
something.
because
Like the
they're
sediment.
sloped, they're sitting
Yeah,
on
I'm
a
not
slope
sure.
that's pointing down in front of them.
But
They're
if we
wondering
look
if they can
exposed
sit
inside
down
Great.
here.
Thanks, video. I'm
Does
listening to
this
watch
look
lead
at
here.
all like the
Letting
sulfur
me know if
pond?
it's sulfur before I sit down.
Yep, asking Bill Chadwick for advice.
Thank
Any
you.
place that's a slope is going to be safe because, if there was anything liquid, it would be moving, right? So the only places you want to be cautious are where it's
Actually
be-
moving.
No, where it's flat.
A little ponded thing with a little bit of a crust on it.
It's
So
like, yeah,
anytime
to
you're on
the
a
right, that's
slope, you're safe.
flatfish.
Yeah, I see him.
Okay, so the
So
crust, the
light
crust is
colored-
safe.
Yeah, the
The-
light colored areas
the crust
are
is
sulfur,
safe.
But they're going to be solid sulfur.
But it is likely sulfur, but it is crusty. So Bill Chadwick is saying it's safe. That's what they
Alright.
put the
Great, because it's not
Right,
perfectly
so there's no
flat.
liquid.
Jason down.
Lots of those
It's all
flatfish.
sediment
Yeah.
and sulfur.
Oh, I see a
Pretty cool.
flatfish.
There's
You
a
see a
lot of them.
flatfish?
They're everywhere.
Yeah, I
Oh,
see
I
the
do.
flatfish.
I
Yeah,
do. I
down at
do.
the bottom of the screen. Yeah, for sure.
This is
Yep, I can see them.
Okay, I'll just set
Yep.
down lightly here, and I don't think I have to pick one in particular. Because
No, I think there are lots.
No,
I
there are
think
lots and
of
lots
them.
and lots of fish down here.
Yeah.
So, Bill, we are
Oh,
seeing
yeah.
fish. You folks,
Okay,
you've got
so
a little
what's
delay.
All right, is that? Are they
Can we
like in
move
the
Sirius,
surface? See how we're seeing
maybe
like little puffs from the
15
surface?
That's
Is that-
exactly
is
what
that
they
the
are.
Fish?
Yes.
Fish bear, the flatfish going in. Yeah.
Yeah, the flatfish
So-
are doing these little puffs.
go ahead,
Yeah.
Rich.
Yeah.
They
There.
kind of are
Let's see,
continually
what is your
moving
video?
around a little bit.
Yeah.
See them
So
come
they're
in and
just
out?
disturbing the
I'm
sediment,
sorry, Rich, I
right?
couldn't hear that. What was
Look at
that?
the gray sand
Oh yeah,
above.
cool. Very cool.
So you'll
Let's get this
see a
flatfish in
higher
the center.
density of them up in the
Okay, copy
less
that.
consolidated sediments,
This
up
little.
further.
Tilt
Okay,
up.
Phil, I'm
Right.
just gonna
So
move the ship
we've
real
got
quick,
little pieces
turning
of
it.
sulfur
Okay.
here with the bacterial mat.
Right.
But then, so you can see the fish
Video,
here.
is
There's
there
a
any way
couple
to
of them
turn
right in
bridge up
front
in
of
my
us.
ear?
One
I'm
of
at
them
max
slightly
decibels.
covered with sediments, but they
could
on
just
the
ask if they
sediments
get
they
closer
move
to
around
the
a
mic.
lot because there's one in the lower left of the image. It just the whole sediment just moved.
Copy.
They will stir up the sediment. These
Yeah,
ones
but
from
no,
the sediment have polychaete
Okay, I'll
Dangerous
spin
one.
right,
in
tilt
their,
up a
in
little
their
to the
guts. So
larger
there's
one
part of the
that's
fish just in
exposed.
the lower left. You can just see the sediment moving here. I can see 5,
Okay.
I
6
believe
fish.
they're on. Yes,
And
we'll
just
just have to
in
zoom.
image.
When we
I
zoom
couldn't
out,
hear
we'll get them.
earlier If you said you wanted me to move or not.
So
Yes.
here's a big,
Okay, move.
big lady
Serious.
over to
20
the
meters?
right, and the smaller
so
one right
30
up
meters?
in front of her
Yeah.
nose.
Maybe like
So you're looking at 5
15,
fish just in the
15,
frame here.
15, 20.
20 might do it.
They're
Yeah.
chloromexes,
Then we'll be ready. So it looks like I have to go
otherwise
ahead
known
anyway.
as tonguefish.
Yeah. I've
So
never
they're
seen a
left-eyed
tether so
fish.
perfectly straight
now.
before.
This one's got
It's
a
nice.
full stomach
Yeah.
of sediment.
Hey,
You
when
can
you're
just see
ready,
the
we
black.
Is that
should get a
max zoom
20
video?
meter move at
That is
192.2 knots.
Okay, I'll tilt down and see
You
what's
see
below
the
my
one just up
skids.
in the upper left with the
If you want
gills going up and down, 2 eyes looking straight at you.
Ooh, there's
Good
a lot.
copy.
Yeah, they're
So it's just that the
Yeah, I'll get
sulfur
one closer
looks
for
very
you.
furry, like it's covered
Yes.
with.
Bacterial
Yeah,
mat.
it's got lots of, bacteria
Yes.
on it.
Yeah. I don't know why it looks blebby. It could have been
There's
thrown
the
out
mat.
of the crater, the big crater during the eruption,
Like a
perhaps.
fish.
Although, I don't know. I mean, it looked when we approached the bottom, there was definitely an area without this too. So maybe it's some other process.
I'll just
So here again,
nudge
you can
to
see on
port.
this fish the white patch is the
Get back,
stomach.
uh,
These fish on Daikoku are much more active. They're eating stuff in the sediment. When we watched them on
he's going the
Nico,
wrong way.
they were
Oh, there's one
incredibly
centered.
quiet because they're stalking predators there, and they stalk the shrimp,
So you're just getting farther
Ah.
flopping around looking for polychaete.
There we
in the
go. Let's try to
sediment.
get this guy video.
tell.
Yeah.
And when we get to the solid sulfur surface, you'll see them all over the place there too.
Okay.
The description of Reno always reminds me of like a robin, looking for worms underground.
Yeah, that's right.
The flatfish on Kasuga were. Oops.
Hello,
Okay.
guys.
Hi, Dave.
It looks like there might be some small spherical blobs of sulfur in here, and everything's
Yes.
covered with this bacterial mat or some kind of growth.
That's what I think. Yeah.
And it looks like those spherical blobs are formed when you blast liquid sulfur up
Happy
into
with
the
the fish
water,
video?
and then it
I am.
hardens as
You
it's
want to look at a
sitting
blob?
there in the water
Just any
column
blob?
and falls back down.
Not sure. He's referring to
so it's
sphericals.
kind
There's
of
one between the
indicated that there's
lasers that's
been
kind of
some recent
Got some.
explosive type or
That's just
pretty
bacteria.
vigorous eruption of
Maybe bottom
sulfur
right there.
around here.
Yeah, the shape of those
The
things
whiter
make them look like
object.
Yeah, I
slabs
think that may
that were
be.
thrown
I'm not
out,
sure.
you
So
know, in a molten state
Copy.
and then got either solidified on the bottom or before they hit the bottom.
All right, Pat,
So
I
Ray,
think
did you
I'm
see any of those
starting to move
snails that
towards
we
you.
saw before? I'm
Ever
not
so
sure
slightly.
what they would look like.
They would look like little furry balls, probably. But no, I'm not seeing them here. What I'd like to do, Patty, if the ROV could just
Temperature
move
probes look
forward
good.
to the
Read it. 12.5. CTD is
area
12.
that has less white
Yes.
sediment.
Yeah, where you saw a lot of the
Just
fish
about
flipping around.
Meters forward.
Yep, okay. Pilot, we have a request from shore just to move forward a little bit. There's an area that is devoid of these white patches right in front of us. There you
I
go.
see it.
Yeah,
And
Pat,
right
I
at the
don't-
edge of
So
that, there
later,
seem
so-
to have been a
We're
lot of
continuing
fish
to turn
flipping
right now. They
around
tried to
in
do
that
the move.
sediment.
Yes.
During it was not working well, so they had to stop.
So
Okay.
this was the
Did the
kind
Thank
of
you,
place
pilot.
that
Way back
we
to move.
saw the highest densities in.
I'll just
Actually, we're
jump
Okay,
to
close to
here.
the end of
certainly
right
see
now
some
already,
moving
so it's
along the
20 meters.
seafloor there.
But
Yeah,
some of
so
that's
look at
because
them
Yeah,
all
pilot,
just
if
in
we
that
can
spot right in
zoom
front
of
right
us.
in
Yeah.
that spot in
Area.
front of us, the darkest
Right, in that
spot,
area
and
of
zoom
the-
on that.
Okay.
Yeah, just below the lasers. Right, there you go. So there seem to be a lot of fish in
Okay.
there.
Feel some
Go in
tug
video?
for me, pilot.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
feel some tug.
Yeah.
Look at them all. Flatfish City. And some of them are buried by
It
sediment?
really is amazing. Huh?
Oh my
Yeah.
This
God.
is so cool.
Do you think it's just warm and they like to lie in there?
If you put the lasers on, we
I
might
would.
get even figure out a density.
Yeah.
Lasers are
Oh.
on the
Yeah,
pilot?
we've
Yeah.
asked for
More
the
than you really
lasers.
think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've been on
You
the whole
know,
time.
yeah.
They're right
So
there.
there,
Yeah, you
your
can see them when we're zoomed out.
folks at home, that those two red dots
So
are
look
our
how active
lasers.
they are. Now they're there.
The lasers are
They're
10
not very
centimeters
big.
apart.
Our biggest ones are about 12 centimeters.
Yeah, maybe not even that
We
big,
pulled out
Verena.
the otolith.
No, some of those are about 7
Well, the
centimeters
biggest ones
long.
We
Now, if we
captured were.
unlatch watch lead for me, I don't want to be talking at your.
And we got size ranges going from 1.5 centimeters up to 12 centimeters. Our largest fish had,
Thanks.
we did pull the otolith,
I forgot
and
to turn it off. It's probably
we
annoying.
think they're up to about 10 years.
What is an
It's a little hard to
otolith?
know without-
Can you tell folks what an
Okay,
otolith
the otolith
is?
the ear bone,
Oh, okay.
There we go.
and the ear bone has bands in it.
Now that's communication.
Ah,
So it's like a coral. You can count the bands.
or like a
And
tree
most
ring.
Fish, they have a seasonal cycle.
So
yeah, that's a lot of
the
fish.
ship's
isn't it?
turning. Is that right now?
Okay, so what happened was
We need Tina
they
to
needed
count
do a
them.
It's
heading
such a
change,
beautiful
and
camouflage
it rotates
job.
about the.
We need Asako
Yeah.
to count them for us.
So it looks like he gave some of our move, but it wasn't working with the move, so they had to stop that. And they're going to
Okay.
finish it.
Looks like.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I do not
they
appear to
were.
be moving towards
Yeah.
So,
D2.
so
It's
they
actually
would
like
go
you're
down
getting farther.
underneath.
So
but,
maybe
but then
confused. Have
just
they
the
moved it already?
activity
No,
of
that's
the
all
pond,
heading
they
change,
bring
huh?
them
Yeah,
up.
they-
And we've
so
got
they have-
Yeah, so they
it's
haven't.
hard to
Nav.
count the
They
eyes
haven't moved on
sometimes.
it, which is fine. We got time.
Hey, so are we at our
This
final
is where having
heading?
a really good digital still camera gets you really high resolution and you can see all the
Okay.
eyeballs.
Okay, and
All
then
right.
So
we'll
this
finish
was
the
quite
move.
phenomenal to see
Okay.
this. And
Start
the
the
move.
biomass
Got you.
here is
Okay.
quite high and supported by sulfur venting. We don't find these
I understand.
Copy
the
that.
hot vents where
All right, we'll look around here. I was
sulfide
confused because, you know, when the ship
deposits
rotates
are-
around the
are
A-frame, it
common.
looks like
It's
it's
always
moving.
been
Yeah,
sulfur.
and that's
was saying
that's
the
what I was
same
trying to
thing.
figure out how much they
Yeah.
did, but they
Yeah.
only did it like 30 seconds.
No, I
After
remember
the
him saying that
mitosis
too.
went by.
I'll just look around here. So what is the... Can you get bridge plot up? What are they adjusting for?
Do you want to look where the skids just disturbed it?
Sure.
Yeah. That's me.
Yeah. All right, I'm just going to back
sorry.
up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Face
Now,
north.
this
me
group
aside.
of fishes, the punk fishes, is
That left one.
quite a
had been
diverse
filled out
group
of
across
we're-
the world.
The ship is having trouble
so
with
it
the
was
surface current, so I'm just
interesting
backing up
that
now while they
Monroe,
wait to
who
move.
described the species, just didn't see anything
that's much better.
particularly
Thank you, pilot.
unusual in any morphology in these animals. And then we found two more species
Copy that.
down
You're
in the
moving at
Kermadec
20
Arc.
meters, 192 degrees,
One
0.2 knots.
that was indistinguishable morphologically from
All right,
this
Bob's read
animal
that.
we're looking at right
Starting
now.
it now.
And
So
it
nothing
wasn't
crazy
until we
happened
did the
with wind or
genetics
surface
on
current?
it that it came out
Okay.
as a separate species, 10% difference. So what has maintained this convergence on the same morphology in two different arcs, in two different parts of the Pacific?
Gonna center myself up here.
Yeah. So I'm looking at 180. Auto depth's at 190, but I don't know if it's current that's keeping me from.
Might be. Let's see.
An observation
If
from
I go
video
off.
share where the ROV disturbed the sediment there to the bottom right.
There's not much going on.
Yeah. Well, we
pretty
didn't
much swarmed in
fall
to
through into
refill
a
that
pool of
area.
sulfur, so it's good so far.
So far,
Yes,
so good.
I remember that now. Yeah, I could just
They-
see it as we went off because you've now stirred up
Disturbed
any
that.
animals or any polychaetes in there.
Oh,
so they're
I
sort of
see.
moving in to
It was
eat.
a way we ended
Yeah.
up
Sure.
catching.
So the polychaetes prefer living in
They're-
the sediment rather than in the areas that are covered with sulfur, or is it just that the sulfur covers it over and the fish can't get at it?
Yes,
Okay.
that's exactly it. So this gets areas of quite a lot of
So you're
crust.
moving in now?
And
Yeah,
the
if
fish
I'm gonna
keep the crust
test.
down.
I'm just
They
gonna
just
turn
keep
my lights
moving.
on and see.
Yeah.
And so
I
when
just
you
want to see
break
the
open the
difference.
crust,
Video.
then they can
Did
get
you
at
copy?
the
I'm gonna
guys,
turn the rest of those Sirius lights
crustaceans
on and just see the
things
difference.
Copy.
underneath.
Now they're at bottom.
They're
Wow.
quite easy to capture. We got a lot with net. And then
Yeah.
in the Kermadec, we actually
So
can
now
bait
start-
them with
I
cat
guess
food.
that's
drop
all
a
on
target
the field,
here.
it's
You
fine.
know,
Really?
On the,
sediment with flatfish
Cat food?
and matting. Or
Actually, it was spam
Yeah,
we
probably.
used.
So now all my lights are on.
Spam.
I think it's fine.
Spam is the universal, most usable canned meat. And what spam stands for is some
look at that one.
parts
That's a little
are
hot spot,
meat.
two of them.
Oh, yuck.
I don't know if that's true.
That's not
Because
true.
later
I
in
know,
that might
I
circle the whole
know.
thing,
But
so
it's
we'll
a
want to know
joke.
where
Good
things were
fried.
safe, where things were dangerous,
Oh, it's very
where we go
popular
back to.
Yes.
in Hawaii.
And then people
Spam
probably come back
When
here.
musubi.
when we go to Guam,
coming
I
back
go to
here.
Kmart and I pick up a couple cans of spam. I have a
Okay.
hard time getting it here in Canada.
Oh, all right. I bet you
And
do.
we use it to bait our traps.
Oh, okay, good. I was a little worried there, Verena. I thought you were eating it. Ugh.
You know
It
who?
does have
I'm
a
revolted
strong
by it,
odor.
actually.
You know who loves spam are the ensigns on the ship.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
particularly Nick Palenko and Brian
Oh,
Pistone.
You should
okay.
actually
Yeah.
get them some.
Now,
Oh,
look,
that tells me something about them.
look at
look at these
all
guys.
the.
Ugh.
Oh, pilot, can we just zoom in on this little
Of
patch?
course. Video.
It's
free to zoom.
So fascinating to
same
see them
patch here
flip
here.
up the. They're flipping up the sediment. Yeah, I wonder if they're burrowing into the sediment not to hide themselves or anything,
Yeah,
but
to
just to
eat.
find more of.
Yeah, they're
Their
foraging
food.
for food. Yep.
They're
that's what
digging
Verena was
in.
saying. They're foraging for food.
In a literal
so
sense.
What are those?
Yep,
You see
if you,
those
starting to move towards
kind
you
of
now.
spherical
Nice.
things
Want to do
with?
an interesting
I think those may be
experiment.
blebs.
The
Oh,
white-
Are
with
there
long
the blebs?
projections. No,
Actually,
I see
I.
like
well,
at about
he's just
Yeah.
not moving safe 'cause
9
we've reached
o'clock.
our location.
Yeah, far left edge
Yeah,
of
far
the
left
screen.
edge. What are those
Yeah, I have
spherical?
50 in my cam, so you're in a
Pilot,
nice
if we
spot.
could
Yes.
get so that we could see those little white blobs with the sort of like stick extensions on the
I
far
see
left
one,
side. Can we get a zoom on those just to see what morphology is?
Of course.
Yeah, they're in the center of the screen, kind of up up
See
the
that?
top.
Maybe sulfur instead of.
That's what I was thinking. Yep, I was thinking it was like Pelly's tears with a little Pelly's
Okay,
hair
go in
sticking
video.
off the end.
Can you go in on that? Yeah.
Verena, did you take
Turning
sediment
left.
samples and then analyze the sediments so you could see the animals
Yeah.
living in the sediments?
Thank pilot.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yes, we did.
Okay. They look like lollipops.
So these are
I'm a little wobbly here.
I think that's
for the
definitely
first time, I think that's not me.
sulfur
Can you go wide video? I'll
was
reset up,
molten
please.
and probably, like we were talking
Just
about
click
earlier,
it
got
here.
thrown out of a vent.
Right.
It was kind of a blob, and then it had a tail streaming out the back, and by the time it hit the seafloor, it was
Go ahead,
solid
Vida.
or almost solid.
No, I don't have them on, and I just turned them down quite a bit. So
what
I
did
just have
you call
everybody
them?
real low right now,
Pele's
except for
tears?
pilots.
Pele's tears are the round blebs, and then the long
Okay,
extension
I'll give it a check.
is Pele's hair.
Oh.
Very fine
Okay, video.
glass
Let's zoom on
filaments
center.
get thrown out
Pushing in on round
spatter eruptions.
stuff.
I think, and these are just projectiles. That's exactly what that looks like. And there are a lot of elongate, sort of acicular sticks that are probably, I wonder if there is a similar Chamorro goddess of fire for the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands.
Are these blobs of sulfur that you
Yes.
spewed out, and
Yes.
the straight part is the stream of behind?
Yes, exactly. So in a
Okay, we have
spatter
that.
eruption,
I think we're very close.
what happens
Go what?
on Hawaii
Sulfur
is you
pool.
get tiny, actually just bubbles of lava that are about pea-sized, and they roll around
Okay,
in the
you
air
have
and
about-
become circular and fall
Yes,
down
it
to
looks
the
like
ground.
there's
So you
some-
find a
something
lot of
23
these things
meters
are
at
called
188
Serious
degrees to
sonar.
the sulfur pool.
And
Straight
in
head,
addition,
starboard.
there are stringers that come off of
That looks
those
familiar, Copilot. I think that might
that
be
form
because
a
you're not
hair-like
extended
strand.
all the way.
We call that Pele's
So
hair.
that
It's
might be like
usually
part
I
of
think
the
that's
frame.
new, though.
Oh, it could be.
and collects down
Because I know what you're talking about. I've seen
Yeah.
it before.
of the eruption.
I thought it was a
little
literally,
rectangle
up there.
around
Yeah, I remember there was
trees
one time I was
or boulders
chasing
and
it
things.
Yeah.
for a while, and then
Okay.
realized.
And
But I
it's just
wonder if it's
basically
picking
glass
whatever that is
spicules.
up.
Very sharp. Now we're coming to a large
So
pile
I'd
of white
say
stuff.
Cool.
There's no
Look at the
danger
white
of
stuff.
Definitely
the
discoloration
white
there,
degrees,
yeah.
so it's about
being-
45 degrees the
going
other way, if that's what we're
extinct
looking
here.
for.
Nice view of Sirius there.
Plenty of them left.
Yeah, that is cool.
In other words, the eruption that we saw in
Temperatures still look good.
2014
No different.
hasn't been a major problem for these flatfish, because there's sure a lot of them.
Okay, we're seeing black patches in the white areas that we are assuming are sulfur thrown out from the pond. Now, the black areas, could these
Is that a smoker
possibly
up there?
be liquid?
Something, yeah.
I don't see
No, I
that.
think the
That's
We
just
might
that.
sonar in one now.
See
Yeah.
smoke
And
in
then,
that
it's
pile
just 30.
upper left.
Okay.
I see it too.
Crust.
We'll get this mat and then we'll move
Okay.
forward.
In the Sirius view,
I think at the top of the screen there, you can see smoke.
yeah,
So that could be where the sulfur pond is, up at the top of the screen.
yes. I think, in fact,
I've
what I
never
see
seen
is at
so
the very
many
top
of,
of the
like,
screen
one-
there's a horizontal
same species
edge, and I'm
dominate an
wondering
area
if
so much
that's the periphery
as
of
these
the pond.
flatfish do.
In the Sirius view,
Right,
doesn't quite look like it,
the pond is in a depression, kind of
Yeah.
a crater.
right?
So that could be like the lip going down into the crater. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, I was wondering
video,
that,
let's
but
zoom
if
on
you
the,
look at the Sirius view,
black
there's
patches.
still some more white
Okay.
material
If we could
beyond
tilt
where I
down,
think
can show
I
the
saw that.
blobs and it. There you go.
In terms of what the ROV should look out for, it's the really flat areas.
Yeah, the really
don't
flat
land on
areas.
anything that has, is absolutely flat. Because that's what our mistake was
I
with
did, thank you.
Jason when we broke through the sulfur crust.
Yep, roger that.
Okay, we got it.
Pilot copied.
And we watched that video earlier that showed the pools.
Yeah, they watched your video earlier that showed the pools of the molten sulfur.
So you can see some of these softer blobs of what's probably bacterial mat on top
On
of the sulfur
I don't.
being blown around by the wash from the propeller.
It's very
Fluffy.
that
Rotate
white
left
stuff
and
looks
show
very
the
fluffy,
soil.
doesn't it?
Yeah, it
Yep.
does.
Fluffy stuff.
I know some microbiologists who would really like some of that.
I'm sure they would. This vehicle needs a push core attached to its arm for sampling.
Little by little.
Little by little,
Little
every
by
day,
little. Each
we're getting better
each
and
year
better.
we're getting adding more little tools, gizmos, and gadgets.
Okay, video's clear.
All right.
So
Well,
Verena
I
Tunnicliffe
assume
mentioned earlier that that
we
white
want to head up to
the white spot on the
smoke.
fishes.
Yeah, Pilot, you
those
have
white spots are the stomach.
gonna need
Good amount of
to
tether,
Right.
so
What
you
they're
don't need
eating.
I think I
Their
can get to
bellies
the
are
smoke
full.
and then we'll move it for the next.
Oh my gosh, look at
Yeah.
the density of these things. Holy smokes. And yeah, they're on top of the unconsolidated sediment and on top of the
Temperatures still look
sulfur as
good.
well. Yeah. Speaking of holy smoke, we can see some in the distance.
Definitely can. The very top middle of your screen is where it's coming out, and it's moving off to the upper right. So that is effluent.
I see bubbles,
So, it seems like we haven't
upper
had any
left of,
problem with the currents.
actually
Lately.
entire left area.
What do the ROV pilots say about that? That once we got on the correct side of this, then the currents were no longer
cool.
a problem.
Yeah,
You
Carl,
got
did you hear
something
that?
coming up
Pretty.
from-
No, I couldn't hear that.
The
have
question
something
was,
rising
once we
right
got
there, too,
on
so you
the
might
right
wanna watch
side,
that on
in
your-
other words, where we are now,
on your
that the
port
currents
there.
were no longer
Yeah.
a problem. So the question really is for you,
Yes.
pilots, currents are not a problem?
No, currently the
Oh,
currents are
there's something on the.
have diminished. You can see there's a slight one from my port to starboard, moving the smoke.
Yeah,
would be
right. And I
kind of-
actually, yeah,
it's
they're
Yeah.
heading from the
opposite
center
of
down to the
Strange.
lower left
It's
as
like
well,
south.
seeing that
Yeah,
shimmery
north-
water.
Headed
Surely seeing
northeast
shimmering
to
water
southwest.
in the lower left. So maybe all the
And
way around
bubbles.
this area. And
Yeah, bubbles too.
Let's start with the bubbles in the center. Let me get a little closer
Yeah.
here.
It's a lot
Yeah,
in
Carl,
the
I'm
lower
seeing them.
left.
Yeah, lower left too.
Looks like that may be where those are coming from.
What's going on in the middle of the screen? That dark area with the white
You want a
things
zoom
kind
center
of
video?
bubbling around?
Just kind of move
It looks
around.
very strange.
Yeah, we think those are carbon dioxide bubbles that are coming out of that area.
But the
is
darker part behind?
the darker part behind,
Yeah.
not sure.
Yeah, you can see
Those
really
look
clearly
like
see the
liquid
bubbles.
CO2 bubbles.
Temperature's
Yeah.
fine. Did it change?
We're seeing a lot of
So if
CO2
anything, it's actually
bubbles
gone down
streaming
slightly.
up, but there is in the darker area, at the upper part
Come
of
up
the
to the
screen,
darker?
there's white, probably bacterial matte flocculent material kind of moving around in the current.
Yeah, temperature's actually
there is
dropped
some
about a degree. in this
smoke
area.
I
coming
take back
out of
what I
that.
said. They look like gas bubbles, not liquid bubbles.
Yeah, thanks.
On
Gas bubbles,
on the-
okay.
on the quad split,
That's
I've
good to
changed
hear,
the upper
Bridge.
right to be the co-pilot screen.
Bridge
where he's
pilot?
monitoring the temperature.
Okay.
I can also. At,
Yeah,
your
I'm down
request,
here
put that
taking the
full
video.
screen on screen 3.
Yeah, the temperature actually,
It's actually all
has
nav.
decreased significantly right here. And Roland, our videographer, is wondering if folks would like to see that full screen on your quad
You think
screen.
this is where they bottle Monster Energy?
That is, do you want to see the temperature replace the quad screen view? And that will take off the bathymetry and the sonar
Can
and
you
the
see
image.
the little sulfur straw?
Yeah,
on the
one
left?
dude just grow in there.
Yep.
Yep. I'm going to get
Okay.
the bubbles, and then
Well,
right next to it is sulfur straw.
Request is to leave it as it is now. There's a little sulfur straw right kind of above and to the left of the laser beams. See that vertical yellow
Yeah,
thing? Could we take a look at that?
sure.
Yeah, that's pretty wild looking. So these CO2 bubbles are almost certainly at least part of the bubble plume that Okeanos saw in its multi-beam survey yesterday, and when it surveyed this area.
Okay, video.
Right.
Multi-beam survey yesterday, and when it surveyed this area.
Okay, video.
Right. Okay, yeah, thank you.
Some, like,
We'll go
little
take a
creature
look
there,
at that.
too.
Go in on the straw.
It's weird.
We'll go for the
Look
crab
at this
after.
little thing.
It's cute.
What is that straw?
Well,
Wow,
I don't
sulfur
know.
Straw?
I don't think it's biological.
No.
Okay.
I think it's
A
sulfurous.
sulfur straw?
But look at how smooth and like soft snow, powder snow, this bacterial mat is. covering over where the little growths of sulfur
Yeah, sulfur straw.
are
and-
sticking up out of the seafloor.
Yeah, Verena is saying sulfur, straw, and blebs.
Top of the
Say
right,
that
you can
5
see the
times.
bubbles.
Oh,
coming
I don't
out.
think so.
Yeah, I see that. Come up a little.
I'm so fascinated by the bottom. I'm having
I
a hard time
know.
getting anything out verbally at all. Wow, look. Ooh, wow.
Yeah, you can see a lot of bubbles
How do
coming
you
out
make
right there.
something
Yeah,
like
there's
that?
big
That's
bubbles.
strange.
That is strange. I don't know how you make
But I
something
want
like
to
that.
just try to put on shutter
Northwest
to
Ankuku, which also had some
Okay.
high sulfur areas.
improve
There were
that.
there
So
were a lot of little fingers
Oh.
like that, not as tall as that, but they looked like little tubes that maybe, molten sulfur had been,
Kind of like dripped.
I don't know.
Something
what verb
happened,
to
or is he
use,
adjusting
but,
him?
He's trying to adjust to
bubbling
see
out
moving
of and
bubbles.
Oh, okay.
forming a little pipe, but so they were kind of hollow. This one doesn't appear to be, but maybe it was something like that. It's funny that there's just one of them, and that it's so tall.
Yeah, it's like one little bit gets pushed out the top, solidifies, and then another little bit.
so
But why does
that's
it do
my
that?
best
That's really
imaging
strange.
without putting
That
in
is
a gauge.
strange. There's a slightly larger diameter one just to the right, about 10 centimeters to the right. I'm trying to estimate how tall this thing is. We could take a look.
Oh,
if
looks
we
like
can-
about
if-
10 or 12 centimeters, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Verena, where did you see the crab?
There was a
Yeah, I saw
crab
one to the
down
left.
to the lower left.
Oh yeah. See, there's some more straws. There's a little
Yeah, a
bloods,
bunch of straws.
Yeah.
A little crab right in the
But
middle
there's
of all
crab
that.
a little
Okay.
lower to the
It's
left.
on the
I
edge
think.
of your screen.
Okay, video. We're looking for
Yeah, see, there he
crab
goes.
now.
He's right up top,
left.
going off the top.
Upper left of the screen. I see it. It's got its
Oh,
claws tucked in
yeah.
around its body.
Oh,
It's
I
Upper
see
left
that.
corner.
same color
Oh yeah,
as the
he's bigger than I thought.
as
I
the
was looking for
sulfur
something
map,
smaller.
pretty much. A little bit grayer. There we
You're
go.
partially
We're looking on
Zoom in
temperature,
on
co-pilot.
Temperature's fine.
Okay,
it
so
actually
what-
dropped
Yeah,
what
mine
would
too.
slightly
that be eating?
Zoom.
in this area.
Okay, I'll come forward and down.
They're predators. We've seen them attack the fish
If you go wide for
and
a sec,
crabs,
video, I
and there
can,
are little hermit
yeah.
crabs all over the
reorient
place.
here.
We haven't
Okay.
seen them yet, but they do exist here. When we were here before, we came into a huge mass of
Yeah,
these
so current
crabs,
from the
so we may
northeast.
see them in greater abundance yet.
Not too strong though.
Oh, that was at Nico where they were covering the seafloor. Is that what you were thinking of?
No, I'm actually thinking
There's
here.
also
We had one
a
place
bunch of
we found
yellow
them as well.
surrounding this. You
Fairly
can
high
see the
abundance.
straws. And
But you're right,
Yeah,
Nico was
see
one
that?
predator.
Okay, can you go in on the crab now? Coming forward.
There's two of them, maybe.
So
yeah,
this
there's
two
a
of 'em.
small one.
Where this isn't where the
a partial.
sulfur pond
Okay.
was
Coming up
before,
and forward.
because that was sort of in a little depression. So just
So we'll have to move off this within 15
we
minutes to
must
go
be
look at the
near that
sulfur
same
leak.
area, though.
Yep. Yeah, two of them hanging out.
Unless unless the topography's changed and that's filled in now, and it
There's
looks
a lot of hot water around him.
Not seeing any movement from the
Wonder
one to
how
the left. but the one
good
to the
he
right,
is
I am.
to eat.
No adjustment.
There's
in
another
temperature.
one just to the right, kind of facing us, sitting on, I think, there it is. It's a smaller one, just at the bottom of the screen center right now,
Okay, let me go back
kind
a
of
little.
nestled in among the little chimlets of sulfur. You can just see
I see
one
him, yeah.
arm and his face.
He's sleeping.
Look at
Now,
that.
this crab has a fairly imaginative name. You can probably never guess what the name derives from. His name is
Okay.
Gandalfus.
Gandalfus. Okay.
Does he have a beard?
It doesn't look like
Pretty
it.
hairy to me.
Video's clear with this.
Okay. Let's see if there's anything else. I just have my right skid lightly touching. I'll tilt down maybe there's sulfur tubes.
There's one.
Oh yeah, there's one. So watch lead, is there anything else here you want to see before we move forward?
No, I think we're good. Thanks.
Okay, we can go wide video. Ooh, look at my right skid.
It's a crab on it.
Oh,
Wow,
you grabbed
this looks
on.
like
It
a
was caught one.
snowscape that's
It's,
been,
He's
disturbed
gonna take you down.
in the
Self-sample.
late winter.
You've disrupted their home.
Oh, he's
See
mad.
lots of the flatfish in the white area, and there's
Zoom
a
into
little
the smoke.
pit
He was trying to assert his
just
dominance
behind
on
the
you.
smoke.
Yeah, I was just looking around for a sec video, then we'll go to the smoke. Just turn right here.
We have bubbles, more bubbles on the right-hand side of the screen,
Oh my gosh.
and more probably sulfurous
So you want to drop a target here,
gases
edge of
coming out,
Yeah.
mixing
pool?
with
North edge
seawater,
of pool?
making
This
particulates.
is the edge of the pool?
Or
That's why
sorry,
the cloud
north
is
edge,
white.
or whatever, smoke. I
In
don't know.
the
Somewhere.
First smoke
Sirius
location
view,
sighting.
you can see
Uh,
smoke
yeah,
is
smoke and- smoke
completely
and
Temperatures
surrounding
are still steady,
the
pilot.
remote
What do you
operated
smoke and,
vehicle.
smoke and sulfur? No.
Sirius is kind of behind the ROV.
Because yeah, the pool is still
Might
the one that
need
they
to
found at least. I know it's
move it a little
changed,
bit
but
for
it's
us
still
to be able to
14
get
meters
more
at
slack to
222.
move
Yeah.
around. In a little
And
while.
then we can
So,
move Sirius
Asako
maybe 10 meters
Matsumoto
forward
gives
if
us
you want.
little
while
Japanese
we're
lessons every day.
Okay.
And so,
Okay.
You have
of
plenty of
course,
tether right
10
now.
meters at
Randolph, the
180.
genus name is easy to
10
figure out where
meters,
that
yeah.
came from.
Okay, video.
We
Let's
must
zoom
do
on the
south.
smoke here.
Yunohana is a Japanese word. It's
Bridge, Nav.
sulfur in a hot spring in Japan, and locally it's called Yunohana,
Nice
flowers of
small
hot
one.
water.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the
Hey,
sulfur
can you
in the
guess what
hot
I want?
spring look like white flowers in the water.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you, Asako. Asako is joining us from the Chiba
Don't even
Institute
start.
of Technology in
I want a
Japan.
ship move of 10 meters, 180 degrees, 0.2 knots.
So we're zooming in on one of the vents, but you can see so much shimmering.
Good copy.
Hey, Nav, release your talk to video.
There's
You
so
I'm
just
not-
much
I'm not
shimmering in
talking
the
to video.
water.
Oh,
The white
well, then I
flocculent
apologize.
material you see wafting along on the right side of the screen
Okay,
just a moment
it's
ago.
not a very good
is
picture anymore.
Just some of the bacterial mat.
Zoom
You can
way
imagine
up
the
into the
depression
background.
there and the sulfur chimneys as like the source
Left.
for
Yeah.
all those little blobs of sulfur that we were looking at initially on the slope with the fish. So not very far away.
Just to stay out of the
Which
smoke, I'll sidle
You
around.
wouldn't expect that
Okay, I'm
amount,
just
that
gonna zoom
size
to
of
it.
sulfur to get very far
Look it
from
over
the
there.
extent.
I wasn't sure
So,
which direction we're headed.
This is probably
Definitely
where
not
it came
into the
from.
smoke, so
I appreciate that.
that only leaves one choice. So actually, I was going to work up along to the east, just because if we head west, the smoke is there.
And there's sort of a snowscape where you've got these white mats on top of the sediment going away from the site where the smoke is coming out, and the smoke is mostly sulfur. You can imagine the magmatic gases sort of seeping up through those sediments and providing a source of chemical energy for those white bacterial mats that are growing on the surface.
So did we move Sirius closer?
Yes, seriously.
Okay.
So
In the process of being closer.
That's good.
What the ROV is doing is really great, kind of giving
Oh, yeah,
us
5 more
a
meters on
nice
the move.
overview from
So I can
above
move them another
of this area. And
5, 10,
Um,
whatever
I
you
mean,
want.
you might want to think about
As we
moving
kind
him
of
also a little
look
to
to
his
see where
port,
this-
you know.
To avoid the
Otherwise,
sulfur
if we
pond
keep going
is
straight
still
forward, he'll be
here.
on top of it.
If it is, it's,
But-
it's
So
going to be in a little
we'll see where I settle with
depression, and
this,
it's
and
going
then
to
we can-
be
Yeah,
also the
exactly.
source of
Okay.
a lot of
No rush.
smoke like that, those white clouds on the right. So it'd be nice to kind of look around where those plumes are coming from, and at times it might be hard to see the bottom there, but we might catch a glimpse of the seafloor in those depressions just to see if there's there's a bunch of these depressions. It looks like little craters, so it'd be good to have a look in all of them, see what's in them.
Okay.
Yeah, in that view right there, you can see sort of on the lower right these like slabs of sulfur that have flowed out from the depression, it looks like.
So like
that
little
is
lava
probably
flows.
down in there
Yeah.
for some molten.
Sulfur flows.
Whether it's full now or not, who knows? But
Yeah,
you can see those
So, Pilot, what we're
darker
asked to
areas
do by
with
the shore is just to take a
overhanging
peek
slab
into
going down to the
most
right.
of these little depressions,
That looks like a
Okay.
like the
sulfur
one
flow
in
that sort
front of
spilled
us,
out from
just
that
over the
depression.
lip. So, on shore, would you folks
Got
like to
pretty
zoom in
distance
on
right
that
there. We can
that
look at it
slab
that height.
face and get the ROV
Okay,
to
go for it.
go? Well, we'll take a look right here where the bubbles are coming out. These are CO2 bubbles
So the
emanating
partial
from
zoom,
a
it looks good.
Okay.
looks more or less like a crack on the side of what may be in front of
sorry,
us,
video.
which may be really a mound of sulfur
I'll
and
put the
sediment.
shutter back in.
Okay.
As we are going upslope a little bit to the southwest. So, Bill, you think at this depth, these are actually gas bubbles rather than liquid bubbles of CO2. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely.
Co-pilot, can you take
I
my
forget what
camera
depth
tilt?
I would love to.
Oh,
The ground's
well, it says
squishy, so I can't
450
really set
where-
down.
Yeah.
Where it would
Video.
transition
Tell me what you
to,
want, or pilot
gas,
for camera
Uh,
tilt.
Okay.
Just tilt up a tad.
I think it depends on temperature. Also.
Yeah, right.
That's good. Perfect.
Really amazing view.
Then yeah, Sirius
As
is about
Bill
to
said
settle, so
earlier,
we
they
can
named that
adjust move after
a place
this.
where they
All
saw
right, I
the
think that we're
tremendous
good.
amount of
Let's see
bubbles
where they
coming
want to
out.
go next.
Yeah.
Champagne vents. Does look like champagne bubbles
Wanna
coming
do a
up in
real
the
slow
ground.
I know they want to look over the
Okay.
edge of that next one in the distance.
Okay, watch lead. We got a good view of that. Was there interest in the crust to the right, or?
Yes, and there's a whole bunch of crabs right to the right too. You can
Partial.
maybe zoom on those
Okay.
first and then mosey over to that slab.
All right, we'll go for the crabs.
Okay, gonna take another look at
Yeah.
these crabs. These guys are actually completely out.
Okay,
so
you
can
still have it, co-pilot?
see
Alright.
I have it if you want me to have
Perfect. Yep, I do.
I'm very
Copy that.
okay with you not sitting down today.
Yeah, this is getting. All right. So we are wide. I'm gonna reorient video.
Okay.
The little bit of current's behind me now, so.
it. I think you just tilted my camera.
Will you give
sorry.
mine back?
So our pilot
sorry.
is
You
trying
have
to
it
keep
back.
the
Thank you.
ROV up off the seafloor. A lot of there's an awful lot of emanation of
Temperatures are still
sulfur
fine.
smoke
Nothing.
and
Yeah.
That's
I just,
pretty corrosive.
Slowly drifting.
to the
Yeah.
vehicle. So we'll be able to get good video for you, but it might be a little bit wiggly.
Pilot, do you want to rotate the center at all? Or do you
No, I like the reference, I think.
copy?
Okay.
Fantastic high definition view coming to you live with maybe a 10
Video
second
swapping out.
delay. And we are on the NOAA ship Okeanos Explorer, America's ship of discovery, exploring the Mariana Trench National Marine Monument region, and this is the volcano portion of the monument, and we are on Daikoku Seamount today, and we're looking at sulfur emanations coming up from the seafloor. The white area surrounding the field of view is sulfur that has been possibly spewed out from a liquid
just
pond
drifting,
of sulfur
Yeah.
that
off
is
my
exposed
port
right
pilot.
at the seafloor.
Yeah, you
and
can
then
follow me around.
all of that sulfur
that,
is
rotating
covered over
view.
by a bacterial mat that makes this look like a very soft, powdery snow surface.
Yeah, can you come up a bit?
The dark areas are
Yeah,
sediment,
absolutely.
and you may
With a
see that
15
sediment
delta now, I can
moving
come up to 20.
every
Okay.
once in a while, getting kind of flicked up, and that's
you gonna
because
back
there are
up
just
into me?
tons
Yeah,
and
yeah,
tons
that's
of
the
little
plan.
Yeah,
flatfish
you got awfully close
foraging through the
to the. Yeah,
sediment
come up a bunch.
for their food.
We'll get reoriented here.
We're up about 6.7 meters from the seafloor right now, kind of maneuvering the ROV to get a better look at some of the areas that are pumping out bubbles of carbon dioxide.
All right. It's a delta of 20.
Thank you.
Volcanoes
I'm not
actually
moving,
have three
and
major
right there
gases
it has you at 60 degrees in my
when
camera.
they erupt
Okay.
on the surface. The most voluminous
Visibility-
gas actually
visibility
is
just got a
water
lot worse.
vapor. CO2, carbon
Yeah, I
dioxide
can see that.
gas, is the
Okay,
second
come
most
back down.
voluminous usually, and then sulfur gases.
Current doesn't look like it's changed,
are
at least
the
on
third
high pack.
most
I don't know if you're
voluminous.
fighting it more or not.
No, it's still about from the same. You can see the smoke still going that way.
So the pilots are very carefully approaching this feature. When Bill Chadwick, who's the scientist that proposed the dive, had been here on the NOAA's Ring of Fire expeditions from 2004 to 2006,
Pilot, you're
they
dropping.
discovered in a
Yeah.
couple of
Can
the
I come down with you? Or?
Yeah, you can
in the
come down.
Mariana Island Arc, pools of liquid sulfur. And we showed a picture earlier in the dive. We might have to show that again at some point in the dive on the screen for you folks to see, but had a black surface, this liquid sulfur
Right, it's
pool.
delta
But you
20.
could see in the
Perfect.
video that they showed on their daily updates,
I got
and you
too
can still
eager there
access
and went
those online
kind
if
of
you want to
around
take a
the
look.
vent.
And that's on
Yeah.
their Ring of Fire
I'm going to rotate back to
expeditions,
where I was.
2004, 2006.
That'll send me back up
And you can
nicely.
see the surface of this black pool undulating and breaking up and exposing the underlying more yellow sulfur material, and that would quickly cool over. And Bill Chadwick was telling us earlier that this is because there's a little bit of iron in the sulfur liquid. So the pilots have to be kind of careful. We're not sure how crusty the seafloor is, and it's also pretty corrosive. So we are going to be taking images from a little bit above the seafloor. Normally they set down to stabilize the remotely operated vehicles so that then our videographers can zoom in with the big camera in the front of the vehicle. But the smoke that you're seeing coming off the seafloor is the sulfur gases combining with seawater and making particulate matter. So it's lunchtime out here on the Okeanos Explorer, and we've just had a shift change of navigator, pilot, and co-pilot, and videographer. And as soon as they get themselves settled, maybe we can have some introductions. They're talking to one another about what they want to do.
So
Go ahead, Bill.
From what we've seen so far, I haven't seen anything that looks like the molten sulfur that we'd seen before, the black liquid in the little basin. But we haven't gotten great views inside those pits yet. But so far, I haven't seen any, and it kind of looks like there's a lot of white, solid, craggy materials inside those pits that are sticking up. So it could be that all that molten sulfur is not, well, we don't know if we're exactly in the same place, for one thing, but in these pits it could just be that there's hydrothermal fluids coming out. There's lots of SO2 in those fluids that's also coming out, making those white plumes. Lots of CO2 coming out, making the bubbles.
Right.
But not enough of. I think to get those sulfur ponds, you need. It's not enough just to have a vent with SO2 coming out. Somehow you have to deposit, have the SO2 mix with water, separate out the sulfur, deposit it. I think you have to deposit it over a period of time and more or less store it.
I see.
As maybe solid or semi-liquid, and then maybe there's a pulse of heat, or the vent changes and it melts and remobilizes all that sulfur, and then you would get a sulfur flow or a sulfur pond, or you have to have some kind of special circumstance to get so much sulfur, so much heat, and make it all melt and have it all in one place. So it's sort of a unusual and special circumstance. So this could be just more of a usual circumstance where we don't see that.
Right, Bill. We are, let's see.
Hey, pilot, good to see you.
We're about
Co-pilot?
10 meters or so away from waypoint 2, which is what we have marked on the bathymetry map as the location for the sulfur pond that you observed in 2006. We're not quite there yet,
So everything's
but quite
settled
true
out,
that
co-pilot?
the
Yeah, no one's
morphology
moving.
of the seafloor may have changed
Delta
in
about
the
20.
last,
Everything's set.
8 years
Your
or so.
swing arms are out. Sides have just had a little bit.
Right, and
Uppers are out
also
all the
10
way.
meters is about
Okay.
We haven't seen any. We've been at 12,
The
11 to 12
navigation,
degrees.
right.
No spikes in temperature at all.
sort
Okay.
of a plus or minus 10 meters.
All
sort
looks
of
pretty
thing.
good.
Too treacherous yet.
But,
Yeah, the only
we're
thing is
certainly
poor
nearby.
visibility.
We'll
And then current really has a
take
bit of
all
factor, I'm sure.
around here.
Pilot filled you in.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think the pilots have to worry about anything anytime they're over a slope, because that's going to be a solid bottom for sure. You know, if it was liquid, it would be moving, right? So
Right.
the only time they have to worry about is in a closed basin where there's a flat
And then,
surface.
so we just,
Potentially could be
this
a
area right now, we
ponded,
got pretty good. So I don't know. Oh, actually, I'm going to be
surface
switching
of
soon.
molten sulfur.
Right. I think they're also concerned just about potential for the emanations, the gases, and the CO2 bubbles that are a bit caustic,
Oh, so you've already
causing
been over here.
problems for the vehicle.
Well, Carl,
So
I mean, we don't
they're
want to
hovering
move
real close to the bottom, but just not
downwind of the
poking
smoke.
into it
Yeah,
a
so I
lot.
think when we put in a move, we'll probably want to.
But looks like they might be all settled up front here. I shall ask the pilot if we are ready for introductions. Pilot, watch lead.
Go ahead, watch lead.
I'm wondering if you new guys would like to introduce yourselves.
If you could just give us 1 or 2 more minutes, we're just
One or
getting
two
settled
more
in.
minutes. You
Yep.
bet. Okay, no problem.
Do our final changes here.
We'll wait just a little bit.
So did I hear someone on the conference call say that obviously the sloped areas are more solid and the flatter areas are softer, possibly warmer, more treacherous?
That's correct. What
Yeah.
Bill Chadwick was suggesting was that any of the slope areas are likely underlain by sediment and just crusted over by white sulfur and bacterial mat. But what is the liquid pool would be a flat area, probably a dark surface, and you might be able to see it actually moving.
Really?
But I
Okay.
wouldn't want to get too close to it. There may be
Oh.
a crust around the pond, so if it's a flat area with
There's
a
some
black
fish
center
down there.
and crust around it, then that would be something you wouldn't want to land on.
Okay. Thanks, watch lead. That's helpful. Let's zoom in on these fish.
Yeah, we've been looking at these
Have we
fish.
seen them?
Quite a bit.
The fish
Okay.
are flatfish that we've seen quite a lot of.
All right.
We spent about 15, 20 minutes with them.
Okay.
What the shore-based scientists would really like to do is to just kind of move around the area and look into some of these depressions to see if there might be liquid sulfur in them.
Okay.
And we're headed toward, but maybe 10 meters away from waypoint 2, which was the position, give or take 10 meters, of where the
Right.
sulfur pond was in
Okay, well-
2006.
We can, well, the problem with going that way is that we're going to be heading into downwind of the plume.
Into downwind of the plume. Right?
Um,
If we go around to the port, is that okay?
Yeah, we can certainly, we don't want to lose visibility, so we're going to have to go port, but we can certainly try to look down into waypoint 2 and
Okay.
see how things look.
Right. Thank you. Okay, folks. Pilot's going to move us around to port a bit, trying to keep out of the smoke cloud because we want enough visibility to be able to see what we're doing, of course.
All right, so let's see.
Yeah, so Patty, it looked like where we see that one smoke cloud
Heading
coming out,
south.
it
Yep.
looks like there's kind of a row
So
of
Nav,
small
we want to
craters
move
there.
Sirius.
before when we were
more
moving around,
towards where
it
D2
looks like
is
there's maybe an upper one.
right now.
I think
Okay.
you can see the lip of it
But also
near
move
the
us
top
forward
of the
a bit.
screen.
Yeah.
But there's another one up there with less smoke coming out, so we should have a look in all of those. If
Do
we
like
can.
little 20-meter hops then?
Okay, Bill, so you want to go like straight ahead up to the upper part of this
Stand by now.
this slope, is that correct? And then look around toward the right.
I don't mind. I don't care about the order. I just
Like a 20-meter hop?
Just want to see
like
the
have a
holes.
peek in all of them.
Yeah, I think that's
stand
what
by
the
now
pilot
there.
got. We're gonna.
Oh, okay.
He just wants to keep up current of the plumes, and so if we go directly up toward the top of the screen and go around this area
Okay. Can
in
you show me
that-
20 meters at
in that
140?
quadrant, then we'll be,
My pack.
away from the where the smoke's flowing to. But we can move down and take a look in the holes. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, pilot, how are you doing there?
Right around
Set
my
up
house.
Yeah,
smooth?
we're gonna get a move in.
Okay, great.
Let's do 15 meters
Yeah. Sounds good.
toward 140.
Yep.
We have Nereus pretty far behind us, right? So we have to move the ship in Nereus.
Sirius is pretty far. We're pretty far behind us,
Not
but we're
Nereus, Sirius. Thank you.
yeah.
Okay, we're going to move the ship a little bit, and that will move Sirius a bit more vertically above the ROV, and that'll give us a bit more slack to move around on the seafloor. And then we're going to be looking in these pits to see what we can see inside.
I just saw a pretty big fish swim by under the ROV from the Sirius view.
Oh, really?
I don't know what kind it was.
Ooh. Is it still in the Sirius
Not
view?
a flatfish.
Not a flatfish. Yep, understood.
No, it kind of went from right to left underneath the
Okay.
ROV.
Hmm.
Don't see it anymore.
Video, watch lead.
All right. Did we call that in?
No, I did not call it in.
Folks on shore said they saw in the Sirius view a fish
Yeah.
that might be on the left side of the ROV. Now, do you see anything? Okay, Annie's
Not at the
showing
moment,
me.
but,
Yeah, Annie's showing me a couple minutes ago. It went behind the fish. Oh no
There's
way.
a fish coming around
Yeah.
to the left right now, but I'm not sure it's the same one.
It was
You
a
can-
large fish.
Yeah,
Okay,
there's another
pilots,
one right around the
what's the
D2
plan?
So
around
we're
the
gonna
back,
do
swimming
that 15
around
meters
left
toward
side
140.
right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Settles.
below us.
Decimal
so
2 knots
slow.
sound all right for you?
Yeah, that's
That's
fine.
the guy I saw before.
Okay, maybe it'll come around attracted to the lights, and we can
All right, I'll
actually
call it in.
see it.
Bridge ROV nav. Ready for another ship move. 15 meters,
well, I'm just
bearing
keeping my
140
distance.
degrees, decimal 2 knots.
Yeah. No. Mostly, it'd be the tether going through it. But I mean, with how far off bottom I am right now, I don't think it's a concern. Yeah, but I'll need you to keep a close eye on the temperature readings as we circumvent this.
Pilot, is it possible just to do like a snap zoom on that
The
sort
fracture?
of platey stuff,
Sure.
the dark platey stuff, right in the middle?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can go ahead and zoom in video.
So, folks on shore, we're just doing a zoom on
Hold there.
this platey material that
Holding
earlier
pressure.
was thought to be maybe a flow of sulfur that spewed out of the center of the crater in front of us. Is that good enough for you folks?
We're going to be moving in that direction shortly.
Roger, thank you. So the pilot just said he's going to be moving in that direction shortly. Oh, there's a little
You can come down a
crab
bit.
or something underneath the edge of that over on the right.
But do you notice the fish on top? There's quite a few fish up on top.
Okay.
Fish
Okay.
on top.
Fish on top as well. So the fish
They're
really like
very
this
well
sediment.
camouflaged,
So
aren't they?
folks on shore will love,
Oh, yeah, the
love to
small
look
ones
at
here.
the fish,
Yeah.
the
You can zoom
flatfish
in.
on
Well, this
top.
isn't even sedimented. This is just sulfur flow.
You
And
think?
this is partly what I was saying at the beginning. What on earth
Oh,
are
yeah.
they doing? The sediments I understand, but
Right.
on top of this solid rock. And everywhere we go, you know, there they are on the rock. So they've got something else going on.
Yeah, you're right.
By rock, you mean sulfur.
Well, I do. I mean, hard substratum is what I actually meant. Yes.
Hard substrate. Yeah, when they move, I don't see any sediment moving. They're not flipping anything up
Okay,
here.
zoom out. Looks like got a little more room.
Pull away.
It looks like there's maybe a bit of particulate stuff
Sure.
on the sulfur, some of that gray color, but it's certainly
How are we
not
doing on
as
that
thick
move?